Hey y'all, we are back in Spiritual B School and I'm super duper excited because now we get to add all of this purposeful, spiritual, juicy, understanding ourselves um, goodness into plans and structures and organization so that the two things come together and you can start offering and being and creating abundance for yourself and others in the world. And I just love this little dance. So full disclosure, you already know this if you've been in Spiritual B School for a while or if you've worked with me one-on-one. You know that I like to share things, but it's always your own self and your own spirits who know if it's in alignment for you or how to take it and make it your own. Your own. That's it. For your own damn self is what I really wanted to say. So right now, this is going to be the first of, I think, 3 parts, potentially 4, but 3 parts of how I run sacred systems. And so this is an overview of how I think of things, and I'm particularly putting it within the context of launching or offering something as opposed to just sharing with you resources and ways that I work. Like I actually am going to be using someone inside of Spiritual B School has shared their whole business and vision and spiritual calling with us to demonstrate. So this is going to be an overarching look at what it would look like to launch and how to organize on the back end a little bit, but we'll get more details around organization and systems and more structure pertaining to emails or like ads, if that's something that y'all are interested in, which I'll need your feedback. I'll need for you to tell me what you're interested in and where you get hung up as it relates to the technology, partnering with your knowing and your spiritual gifts to, again, get it out to the world. Okay, let's get into it, right? So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So we've got Sacred Systems. It's April 2020, and we are well into, well, I think we're just coming up on the peak moment in coronavirus pandemic. I always want to say epidemic, but pandemic. And yeah, I hope that as you're watching this, whether it's a recent replay or even down the line, that you are well and that you made it through this with your spirits high and your health intact. Okay. And yeah, just some sensitivities to that. So this is, as I said, April 2020. This is getting your offer organized and out into the world with Sacred Systems. So I don't work the same way every single time. I do allow spirit to guide me. So here is an overview of what that sort of looks like very loosely. I always start with some type of ritual or prayer to call in my people, my spiritual guides, my ancestors, my creatives, all the folks who work with me on being who I am, my celestial guides and star ancestors, to back me up, for them to whisper little things to me or give me nudges or let me see something in a way that resonates with my gifts, the offering, and the folks that it is for. So that's number 1. And whatever way that you can, set aside sacred time to commune with your higher spirit, yourself, your spirits, whatever, how you roll. That's important. And I would say to weave that into the whole entire creative process. The very first time I offered a program called Acculturated Space, which was a 9-month mentorship program, I commune with spirit every single day. And I had a promise/agreement, a covenant, if you will, with spirit that at any point during the creating process for that program, if I felt in the promotions process, if I felt just in lack or scarcity or self-doubt, that I needed to pause and get myself in full vibrational energy and then continue. So my launch in that process was much longer than I ever thought, because I was going up against parts of myself and things that I now know that I did not know then. So see, it's not just about, even though everyone will tell you differently, including your body and your pockets, that it's about the sell and everyone loving what you're doing and you're getting raving reviews and you're getting the financial abundance that you want for your work. It's that, but it's also what you learn about yourself to allow you to rise more strongly the next time you offer something, or more clarity the next time you offer something. What it teaches you about yourself in the journey. Like, that is so beautiful. Enjoy that. Enjoy the tears. Enjoy the frustration. Enjoy the joy. Enjoy the way that you learn to write things differently. Like, all of that is part of it. All of it is part of it. Okay. Start with the ritual or prayer. And gather yourselves. We did a whole entire workshop around unlocking your will to show up. So get those parts of yourselves, those sub personalities, get them in order. If the creative is like, yeah, I'm ready to create. Okay, cool. Give her a task, honor her. If the procrastinator is like, we can start this a little bit, like talk to them. They are going to be present and they're going to come out. So notice those two things of taking care of yourself and being in relationship to spirit are number one and number two. Any other way of doing business is not to make us pit ourselves or create binaries here, but it's how everybody else is doing it. How can you weave spirit and your higher spirit and your bigger vision all the way, or bigger call, all the way through your entire creating and launching experience? Like, that's important. So there's that. Next here, we've got strategize with spirit, which is what I'm going to take you through right now. Designated creative space. And that's not just like physically what's your creative space. It's actually on your laptop or on the machine that you work on to organize your content and the things you're going to be talking about. So create a designated space. Create your creative materials, all those Instagram posts or whatever else. You might want to sit down and just simply create those things ahead of time. I don't always do it. I like to feel the spirit and the energy and then create it and then post it and use it a bunch of times, which I'll show you. Prepare the back end. That is getting your funnels, as they like to call it. But I just like to say, this is the experience of someone saying, I'm interested. Yes, I want to learn more. Give me a taste. Yes, I'll buy. What do they get along the way? And that's going to be a whole separate video because it can get quite cumbersome and really frustrating for people who are not used to doing it, or it's your first time doing it. I still have errors in emails and things all the time. So there's the back end piece. And then final tier dropping down is promote and host to share. So you're promoting what you're going to do. You're hosting things to just share the information and it will call people in. It's not so much about selling. I think it's about showing up and just telling people about it. They will sign up when they're ready. And I'm going to share with you a couple ways that I do that. And then use Instagram and live to, again, share and invite. So there's 2 steps here for a reason, which I'll break down in just a little bit. All right, so we're going to go through, as I said, strategize with spirit, prayers and ritual setting, gathering yourselves, and then all that kind of breaks down to business with wisdom, business with sustained now, business that's sustained now, organizing it, saying the truth, and share to invite, okay? So prayers and ritual setting. I've already kind of said it already. You guys know that I'm very adamant about working with the elemental spirits if you don't, or the elementals if you don't do anything else. Your higher spirit, the almighty universe, and honoring land, earth, water, fire, and air, which is, again, I don't have any air in my chart, and that's the reason why I always forget it. Sorry, air. So this is time to say those prayers, call in divine wisdom, the highest form of patience, and your more in tune intuitiveness. And partner, asking them to partner with you and co-create with you and your offering. And I just ask you, how do you commune with spirit? How do you want to sit in ceremony to request participation and a blessing over your work for you and all involved? This is so important because when you start spinning out or you start second guessing, you will feel spirit show up and hold your wings in some way, shape, or form. Something will happen. You will read something. Someone will call you. You will hear a whisper. You will just feel to do something different. And when you set aside time to honor spirits, it's better than them doing it for you and you just are like, oh yeah, thanks, and it's all haphazard. Like, really honor that you're doing this for a bigger reason and with others. So again, I like, this is me, as y'all know, sitting at the waters and letting my people speak to me. Next one, gather yourselves. All that work getting to know the different paths of you at play when it comes to your business and offerings is not wasted. It's not forgotten. Weave that stuff in there. These are not separate things. We don't go into our personal development over here, spiritual reconnection here, and then our business over here. Like, nah, all that stuff is just like this. So bring those people in and see what it would look like and how they can work on your better half. And this homegirl looking in the mirror being like, who's up in here? Healing is only real when we really apply that new understanding as we live in this world, meaning as you build your business, as you choose to show up as a consultant, as you write the blog, right? As you offer the coaching sessions or the new course or program, right? So how will you call on your controller or your procrastinator or your creative and way shower or the little girl that's hiding or whoever they are, the pieces inside you? How do you call them in and how do you have them work with you? Now, let's get into the new stuff. Strategizing with spirit. Within, really, with spirit. Yes. So sometimes people will put this in the terms of short-term and long-term objectives. That's business talk. I want to put it within the context of what we're really saying when we're in alignment, and that's ancestral wisdom, ancestral time. We know that there are times and seasons for reasons. So there's times for planting the seeds. There's time for nurturing them and cultivating them. There's time for picking out some weeds. There's time for ripping them up and replanting them or adding some additional seeds. There's time for harvest, right? And then celebration and rest. And it goes like that. So I remember sharing with you guys that I typically give at least one full month or new moon to new moon, a lunar cycle, before I offer something really big. Even things that are small, I might talk about it, I might show up a little bit more, I might hint at it, then I like tease it, then I offer it, and then I give time for people to sign up. That's typically how I roll. It works really well because when we've just like been hanging out online and then we just boom, we're offering something, they're like, well, where'd that come from? And you expect me to show up? Like, you've been talking about baking bread and now you're talking about sign up for my course. Like, how did you, I don't know. I've been enjoying your cooking stuff or your wellness stuff. I don't know if I want to sign up yet. Or even not worse, but another alternative is you haven't been talking at all. No one even knows what you're offering. If you're doing one-on-one sessions, if you're back at a day job, no one knows anything. And so then you just pop up and you're like, here, I'm offering this, like buy it. Or, hey, just want to send over my proposal, like just get it. And there's been no warming up, no showing up. So we want to give time to seed and nurture and offer and then harvest and learn and then rest and then come back again. And then the final thing here is to really leave space for allowing and for spirit to speak to you. So people will strategize and plan all the way down to the T. And I am not a fan of that at all, especially if you're working with spirit, because we can think we're going to do something one way and spirit will come in and hijack all your shit. And you'll have resistance to flowing with that wonderful stuff because you spent all this time making these fantastic boxes and organizing every single thing that you left no room for wiggle. So as a spiritual entrepreneur, I would say do some strategizing and some strategic planning with spirit, but also know that, and with yourself, things as you get into it, it unfolds. So, and if you allow that to unfold really well the first time, then you can just retrofit it the second time, the third time, the fourth time. Okay. So here's what it looks like. Business with wisdom. Define the longer term business or service objective for this first offering, right? The next one is business sustain now. So one is like the wisdom of foresight or seasons and long term. What do I really want in the long term for this? The next one is what do I need right now? Also, not only what do I need right now, but what does my client or my customers or my people need right now? And that can break down into the shifts or the transformations, things that are intangible, and then things that are very tangible, which is like completing a project. So I could say that my current need would be, to complete this video recording and share it with y'all, this training or this share or this workshop, if you will. That's very tangible. When it's done and y'all have it and you watch it, you're like, okay, boom, Ash did that. The intangible shift for me is that I got to share some more information in a way that I've been internalizing it or working one-on-one, and now I get to do it in a bigger way with the group. Like that creates some pride. Pride is not tangible. You might be able to see it on me. I might walk a certain way or feel very proud or light up when someone gives me some positive affirmations or compliments about it, but that's an intangible shift. It's a drop into the confidence bucket. It's a drop into I can keep doing this. I'm supposed to be doing this bucket, just to give you an example. So you want to look at this from your perspective. What do you need now? And also from your customers, from an intangible and then also tangible way. Then we've got organize it. This is outlining the content of your first offering. What are you actually going to be sharing? What's the actual paid thing, like the deliverable? The next one is say the truth, communicate your message and message of hope and invitation, which The old language around this, or the way that people say, is like, what's your promise? Or what's the takeaway? Or what's the benefit? What's the why that they should buy this? And you guys already know how I feel around promising things in this day and age, when everyone needs to be taking ownership of their healing journey or their personal development journey or their whatever. And if you happen to not work as a coach or a healer or a spiritual person, and you're in the nonprofit sector or things like that, we just want to give room for the client or the customer to actually breathe life into whatever you're offering for themselves. And they can come to you and be like, wow, our organization was expecting this and we thought this, but we got this. Like, we got so much more. Like, wow, like you gave some breath to it and some space. And yeah, when you communicate your message of hope and invitation around your purpose, it completely changes everything. And I'll give you an example. And then finally, you want to share to invite. You're not sharing to sell, you're sharing to invite people. The people who are interested in what you have to say will say yes. Their eyebrows will raise, they'll take a taste, they'll email you, and then you guys will be rocking and rolling. So that's when you create your sample and your promo, whether it's free or paid, right? Okay, so let's get into this a little bit more, as I've just said. So business with wisdom, this is the long-term objective. So sometimes we come up and we're like, I want to do this 1 year mentorship course thing, and this is what I think it needs. It needs this component, it needs this component. Before you know it, you have this really, really long list of all the things that you need to create. You also have a really long list of all the programs and systems you need to make it happen. And that's great. We often have the long vision right here in front of us. And I'm saying, let the long vision be long, let it be far away. And let's look at what you need to do right now to make it happen. Right? So if you know the long vision is a course or a large group training program or a monthly membership platform, or to build a larger audience so that you can be able to, offer them one-on-one services, or to create a following for monthly automated workshops, or to write a book and be seen as an author. Like, there's some long-term bigger thing. I want us to be crystal clear on what that thing is, because then we get to chunk down, if you will, to what's needed right now. There's no need to go from 0 to 1,000. You will burn out. I promise you. Every single time I've done it, I have hated myself for doing it, and I have failed miserably over and over and over again. All that work, all that efforting, all that pushing without listening to spirit and without taking my time. So we want to do little things before we get to the long one. So if your thing is to offer a big, huge course, let that be the distant. And now let's start to know that crystal clear. And now let's start to look at what you're going to be doing right now. So that alone is a big shift. If you didn't notice it, triple check that what you want to do right now, whatever spirit gave you or you know you want to do. For those who are on the live workshop, I don't remember any of the things that spirit and I and you and me or whatever created or talked about you creating. So double check, is that a long-term thing or is that a right now thing? Is there ways to make it smaller and more edible, especially during the times that we're in right now? So a little bit of feedback on here is what I'm noticing across the internets and with other folks is that people are a little less inclined to do something really long and really costly, but everyone is really hungry for these little morsels of nourishment. It's easier to chew. It's making our nervous systems that are already shot feel a little bit more comforted and restful and trusting. We're just moving at a slower pace. So I would lean heavily into, if during our live business pivot and pivot session, workshop, brainstorming session was a really big thing, see how you can break it down and work towards that thing over the next coming weeks, okay? Next thing, sustained business now. So this is your short-term need. Is it to drive incremental income? How much? Is it external accountability? Just get it out there, Ash. And I saw that people liked it and they downloaded it even though it was free. Awesome. Test your idea to offer that you're offering. Test your price point. Even better. Create credibility for speaking opportunities. Now people have seen that you've offered something and they give you some testimonials and your page is lit up or your blog is offered, whatever it might be. When you apply for speaking opportunities and people look for you, they can see that you have some content or you made an offering. Maybe you want to transition from full-time employee to full-time spiritual entrepreneur. Cool. If that's a short-term goal or need for you, then what does that really look like? I think I would actually probably move that into the long-term thing, but that's okay. Take a stand on a new topic. Maybe you're offering something, maybe you've always talked about natural womanhood, and now you want to extend into natural pregnancy, like becoming a mom, natural motherhood. That's cool. Expanding on your key messages. Maybe you want to change your business model from group to one-on-one or one-on-one to group. So you're offering something so that it validates you. Or you just want to get some testimonials and praise and make a little money. Bam. And then you can roll it out bigger later. That's cool. Just get crystal clear on what the short-term goal would be along with spirit for you. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to get it out and I want to make sure that my message or my work resonates. Please show me, spirit. Bring the people who are saying yes to this. And then I put it out there and then I see, and then I get what I've got and I know how to edit or revolve or amplify that energy and make it roll for me or work for me tenfold. Okay, let's not forget the people that we serve, our community members, our friends, our people, right? Our followers. Sustain business now is also wondering what their short or being cleared on what their short-term need is. Not because you're going to, and I think I messed up the slide. Sorry, y'all. Not because you're going to be trying to solve that problem or promise them that, but just so you are aware of what you kind of sort of hope that they get from it. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So ignore this. I will fix this before I upload the slides. But essentially, it's like for them, do you want them to walk away with something in particular that probably ladders up to your bigger purpose and your mission, to be honest with you? A lot of times when people come and do anything with me, I'm thinking I really want them to walk away feeling heard, feeling seen, to have some clarity in what they were talking about or what they're offering or what they've been, wrangling over for weeks. I want them to walk away feeling that they're in community. I want them to walk away feeling that they're more in touch with themselves. And I can't control that, but I will facilitate a space or an experience or share my knowledge that has helped me or might help them along the way in their journey, right? So there's that. Sorry for the mess up on that slide, but that gives you an idea. What is the takeaway for the short-term need for folks? Right now, I think a lot of people need comfort. They need comfort and they're looking to spiritual people to be like, hey, are y'all okay? Or am I okay? Like, what are y'all forecasting? Like, how can I be well? They're eating that stuff up. And, we can go into a whole conversation around, is it good to serve in that way? Is there a way to empower people to slow down and just listen to themselves? I think it's great to give people what they're asking for and then surprise them on what they don't realize that they need, which is the reason why my work is the way that it is. It's like, okay, I know there's a need and I have a gift and these things in my ancestors have blessed it. Those three things are working together. And when you get inside, it's going to leave a lot of space for you to step in and challenge yourself and grow so that the confidence is being boiled up or birthed inside of you, right? Confidence. But my words have been really weird, y'all. Like, I'm so glad that I can be myself. Even to the people who are watching this that I don't know yet. Hey. Okay, next up. Communicate your hopes and the purpose, not promising an outcome, especially if it's a healing journey. So the old way or the other way of doing marketing is like, what's the benefit? What's the outcome? What are they going to walk away with that you're promising them? And I'm like, I'm not doing that because most of us are healers. Most of us everyone has agency, whether they're going to learn from you or buy from you or work with you. There's so many other variables and factors going into the outcome of anything. And we know that all of this is a journey. Every single thing is a journey. So I think of it as communicating your hopes and your purpose. But it can break out a little bit more concrete. And the only time that it breaks out more concrete is if you're doing something that is very project-based. That's like, I'm going to teach you how to, by the end of this experience, you will have learned, learned 7 different asana sequences that haven't been put together before that release anxiety in your heart space, which will help you sleep easier at night. I don't know. What if someone doesn't sleep easy at night because they actually have nightmares all the time, but they actually did learn those 7 asanas or those 5 asanas and a new sequence that people haven't put together before. You don't know of anybody who's put it together like that before. That's an actual project experience. Like you're taking them through a bunch of different asanas or postures, and then you ask them to pick out the ones that they love the most and then organize it, and you help them write their own mantras, and now they have walked away with a whole new ritual, essentially, or yoga sequence that's unique to them. That's an actual thing that when they finish, they're gonna have that. Like it's a workshop, they're going to have it, no doubt. Now if they use it, we don't know. Will they get transformation? We don't know, right? The other one, which is often in my other work that I do. Let me pull it back. The project experience is something that I use, and not with this exact language. I'm being very tight with the language just to articulate it for you. But the project experience is something that I use when I'm only doing, which is soon to end, when I'm only doing spiritual branding and conscious business work. Like if someone comes to me and they're already a spiritual healer or whatever, and they're like, I just want to work with someone who's ethical, who gets all the different things, and I'm already doing my spiritual work elsewhere. Can I just work with you on conscious business and spiritual branding and redo my business? Then I'm like, okay, cool. This is the process I'm going to take you through. This is what the outcome's going to be. These are the deliverables. This is the timeline for it. This is what I promise for you, because this is my actual work. There will be a tangible version of this work. I don't know if afterwards we do that work that is really going to transform them or their business. It always does, but I'm just saying it could not. It could be this doesn't resonate. I haven't had a client that happened to. Thankfully, I can toot my own horn. But getting back on the process, if it's a project and you're taking people through a step that they're actually going to have something at the end, sewing. We're going to learn to sew a jacket. We're going to learn how to make your own garden. Those type of workshops or those type of offerings, they're tangible. Now, things that are intangible are your transformational journeys, which is the majority of my work. Majority of my work is, by the end of our time together, I hope that you will feel more in tune with your ancestors, right? I hope that you will feel more free and you can trust yourself a little bit more, because I've witnessed you. We've sat together. You've talked to your people. We've done some personal development work. Because I believe that everyone has freedom inside. We just have to spend some time to tap into it and be witnessed in it and held in it and all these things, so that you can move forward with your life and walk your journey a little bit more, and trust yourself a little bit more. I'm giving you just a whole bunch of examples. I don't know for sure when I go into every ancestral healing session that someone's going to connect with an ancestor. They could have many blocks around it. They could be all up in their mind and never done any meditations or any rituals or any spirit work, but they've heard about ancestral healing and they're in a moment in their life going through whatever experience that they're like, no, I need to do this. Their ancestors could not want to talk to them. I mean, it's rare, but it might take 5 sessions, 8 sessions instead of 1 or 2 to make connection. So I can't say that, you'll be transformed, because I don't know that. Everyone's on their own journey. But my hope is that with my experience and my skills and these things, I can take you through facilitate an experience that might do this for you and that benefits you, so that you can blah, 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 blah. So you can rest easy, so you can pray or whatever it might be. So think about this a little bit and how you want to present your offering to the world. Unfortunately, you can feel a little bit of old system in this, simply because we're creating something new while living inside of the old. So sometimes I find that our clients or potential customers and people, the society, need to see some things that feel familiar in order for them to lean into the unknown. So it's not a full departure unless you feel called to. I've fully done sales pages without doing any of the formulas, like 0 bit of the formulas. I just let spirit and me write about what I'm talking about and invite people to sign up. And this is the cost and this is the date. And if you have questions, here's my bio and here's my email, like boom. And that's it. I've seen people who also go off grid and they don't do any of these formattings. They just really write a long, in-depth copy about who they are and what they believe and what they've learned. And it's how they show up and how they present that draws people in. And that's great. The point is, I'm giving you some things so that you can start testing it out and putting it out, making it your own. So I'm going to do a case study. I'm very excited because we've been talking about doing case studies for a minute, and I finally had enough time to finish it up. And also it was perfect timing because our lovely Kiera at Yokini, founder of Yokini Organics, is an amazing yogi and author and teacher and healer, Reiki healer, who decided to do her own self-healing course, which is a spinoff of her self-healing ebook. So it was actually perfect timing to just kind of not scrap, but edit some things that was being done before on the case study and present it to y'all like this. So Kiera has this upcoming self-healing course. As I said, she's a yogi, she's a healer, she's a Reiki master, and she's really all about people learning how to heal themselves with the earth, with nature, like spending some time meditating, getting out in nature, having herbs and eating well, doing your yoga, channeling some energy, journaling prompts. Great writer that she is. And so this will be her first course, I believe. So as she said, her intention is to share self-healing tools, educate on how these tools will work energetically, and guide participants through the practical application. That's important because practical tells me that it's probably going to be a project type of experience, not the transformational experience, something that's a little bit more digestible. And you can say you walked away with this experience. Did it transform you? Maybe not. Maybe it did. I don't know. To their daily lives. Okay. The course includes an uplifting daily email with a guided meditation. Awesome. And she has themes for the meditations, a healing activity or workshop link. Awesome. And then a distance Reiki session. That's very personal and very yummy, and email support throughout the course. So that's a lot. Not only is she doing an email every single day that has an uplifted written out theme, a meditation included, right? A healing activity or workshop link. So that means she's either, written out an activity for them, or has them coming to a workshop live, or maybe a workshop that's recorded. So she's got to create that content. And then also a distance Reiki session. So do they get one Reiki session or two? Is it the beginning? Is it at the end? Is it daily? Right? And then email support. So someone could be like, oh, this is what's happened with me today, and emailing all day. So this will be a full on 15-day, 3-week course. So based on what I said, I would love for y'all to tell me, is this a now thing or one of those long-term ancestral wisdom objectives or things to do? If you ask me, and right now during Corona time, this is probably a long-term thing to do, depending on the price point. I don't know if for 3 weeks, people will keep their attention and also do the work. Right? Now, this is, obviously I haven't had the conversation with with Kiera. I have a personal thing that I'm still healing from around, I don't really care for people purchasing things from me if they're not going to do it. Some people don't care. They're like, that's your business. It might sit in your email for years, and then you do it one day and send me an email and say, thanks. That's cool. I personally really like for people to buy my thing or work with me, and they are doing the work, and there's like an energy exchange going on. Like, it's dope, even if we're not doing one-on-one work. So maybe that's Kiera, maybe it's not. But right now, because of this pandemic, I would say this is a long-term thing, or not even long-term, but in the next few months, you would lead up to this 3-week situation, potentially. But let's continue going. So essentially, she's already created this book of self-healing practices, which is right there. She could use this as a promo right away to be like, hey, did y'all know I have an ebook? And people who, if you're interested in my course, first get the ebook. All right, I got the ebook and now I'm interested, maybe. Another way to do it is to, which I'm going to go through the next thing. Actually, let me just go to the next page. But essentially, we've got a book, we've got a self-healing course coming along. Let's break this down a little bit. So what is the long-term focus of this offering? If she did move forward with doing this 15-day, 3-part, 3-week course, then I would want to know, for right now, I would want to know, what's the long-term goal? What's the goal after that? After you do this, what's most important? Is it that people see you as an authority of doing online courses and healing? Okay, what would that be? Like, give me something to understand what the long-term reason that you're doing for. And I'm talking in circles, but y'all get it. I didn't have coffee today, y'all, so hang on with me. Personally, again, if I were Kiera, I would make this something that I would do 3 or 4 months from now. Or, real talk, and this is straight off the presses, I would break this down into mini workshops or courses. that someone can get. It's like 3 days over. It's 3-day mini workshops, and I would splice it into 5 different purchases and put a theme over each one and just roll those out two times a month for the next few months, personally, just because of the times right now. But what I love about this, no matter what, she already is so clear about her brand. There's people every time she puts up a quote or any questions or her content, people are eating it up. They're responding, they're answering questions. Super dope. So there's enough going on in Kiera's life that she can splice and dice and play with this and see which one works best for her and her audience. So what's the short-term need for this offering for her? I'm guessing, but I think it would probably be getting it out there, testing her audience, and some financial support, right? And then what's the short-term need of this offering for your peeps? Reprieve. Everybody's nervous system is a little shot up. They're wondering how to eat well. They're not going to the grocery store as much, or they're going too much because they're eating through their snacks really fast during this pandemic. So you already have an idea of what's going on. And that's not for you to be like, because of the pandemic, let me show you how to eat well. Like, I don't do that kind of marketing and branding or marketing, and communication style, but it is good to just understand what's happening right now and what do you need to be sensitive to, and what is your offering really talking about that services the people right now. So here's my example of the transformational language, just a little teaser that Kiera can play with and edit or shift in any way. It might be on a sales page. It might not. So the transformational one is, and this is if she's really going in and being like, I hope you walk away with, whatever. Here we go. I'll read it. By the end of our time together, I hope you will have an experience. Sorry, I should have edited this. My goodness, Ash, what's happening with you today? By the end of our time together, I hope you will have had an experience to shift you in your relationship to wellness and connect you to your own sense of divinity and vitality in your body so that you can deepen and continue on your healing journey. So it's really all about, I hope that you've had an experience that helps you shift your relationship to wellness and being connected to your own sense of divinity and vitality in your body. I hope that there's been a shift that happened. I hope it awakens you. I hope you see something in yourself so that you can also deepen and continue on your healing journey. Essentially, I hope something happens that gives you confidence to believe that you can heal yourself. That's what she's saying, or what I'm saying for her, maybe. Sorry, Kiera. I'm so sorry for the typos. I'm still landing. I don't know what's going on, but thanks, y'all. Another one. So if she is not taking this into super deep healing and the meditations are just really fun and, digestible and just entry level type of stuff, then maybe it feels more like project based. It's like you can experience a whole bunch of these mini healing modalities, and then you can pick and choose which ones you like and integrate them into a daily practice, right? So if that's it, if it's more project based and not so much about shifting your energy or making you see that you can heal yourself, it's just letting you experience it. And that's the seed for the longer term thing of like transformation potentially. I use this one. By the end of this experience, you will have a few of your favorite healing practices in place, which will help you continue on your own journey of healing with nature. And her actual tagline is healing with nature, something similar to that. So healing by nature, I think it is. So I really like the second one as an intro, just because Kiera has a really good balance between like super cute and informational, but underneath it all, there's some depth and some heavy work. And so introducing this to her clients or her potential clients and her followers of here's a way so you can start picking out your own things to make a daily practice, just brings them in so she can keep building with them over time. So after a couple weeks, they'll be like, yeah, I am ready to invest in like, a program, and I'll put 2 down payments on it or whatever it might be. I'm not sure what Kiera is thinking in the long run, but here's a couple screenshots of her overlay, her outline of her course. So here's what I would do, literally. As I told y'all, we're looking at ancestral time. So if it's going to be, regardless to how she does it, personally, again, I lean into this, Kiera, I would If you're going to do the bigger program, then let this be a whole entire month of like talking and promoting. And you've been doing a lot of talking and things anyway. So just test it and see. But I would break it down into smaller chunks, and I would do a launch, actually have it live where people are getting the emails and interacting with you somewhere between the 23rd and the 26th of April. So backing out of that time, that actually gives us, let me look at what is today? 1, 2. So it's like 2 weeks. Yeah, that is 2 weeks time. So half the time of what I would normally recommend for a minimum. So your folks are already warm. So what I would do is do some lives and talk about how life has changed you this week when the moon is in Scorpio, right? And the reason why I say when the moon is in Scorpio is because right now the moon is in Libra, and that's in your 12th house. And the 12th house is all about the transformational stuff, the heavy stuff, the emotional stuff, the underdog, like the underbelly stuff. It's rough. So I don't know how you're feeling. We haven't checked in, but maybe you're a little bit moving a little slower, a bit in your feels, you know, a little having all the feels a little bit. So wait till it gets into your first house and it's in Scorpio. And that is when you can really start to show up even more and like talk. But who knows? Maybe you're feeling something differently. You know, that could possibly be it. So I will look forward to hearing your feedback on it. But pulled up your chart and I was like, I would wait until the 9th and the 10th, which is Thursday and Friday, and have you do some lives and talk about how your life has changed, since you started being, you know, on your spiritual journey and your personal development process. And reason being is Scorpio is all about transformation, death, and rebirth, and it's in your first house. Your first house is about you. So talk about yourself and what has happened since starting your journey, just casually, like this is what my benefits are. This is the shifts I saw in myself, whatever it might be. Then you can move into sharing that you're doing this course and ask folks how much they will pay for it on the 11th and the 12th. The 11th and the 12th is when the moon is in Sagittarius, and that's Saturday and Sunday. Sagittarius falls into your second house. Second house is all about your material assets and money. So, and Sagittarius can be a little flaky. It can be a little showy, and also a little like, I'm out. So with that, we want to see for the bigger course or even for the mini course, actually, this is a perfect opportunity to test if the bigger course is something that people will purchase and at the price point. Like, yo, would y'all be down? You do those cute little Q&A bubble thingies and people respond to them for you. They never for me, but they do for you. So ask people, I'm thinking about putting together, which I know you recently have done this, I'm putting together a course around self-healing. I want to know, it's going to be 3 weeks long. Would y'all be interested in it? Yes, no. Okay, if you are, what's the price point? $50, $199, $250? What would you do for this? You know, and see how they respond. That way you're getting information from them when the moon is in your second house of money and assets and material values to get that extra boost. So what comes through is crystal clear for you. Next, the 13th and the 14th, you want to, let me just triple check my notes here. Okay, yeah, the moon is moving into Capricorn. So you want to talk about the intro mini session you're going to offer. You might want to offer, I'm pretending like I'm just advising you on how to do this. You might not do any of this, and that's okay. My feelings won't be hurt. But talk about the intro mini session you're offering for a taste of the full course on the 13th and 14th. Reason being is because Capricorn is all about structure and organization and building and doing and workflow, and that's going to be in your third house of communication. So if you tell people what you're offering and you invite them into it and you talk about the structures and why you thought about it, and that's a whole lot. That's the reason why I want to break it down into something more digestible for you, which is this mini taste, and the mini taste is going to be on the 14th. So you can promote it the 13th and the 14th. Maybe you run it in the evening of the 14th. You will have to already have created some assets for this. Clearly, I'm not showing that part. I'm just kind of giving you the strategy of how it could overflow out. Have to create a sign-up form for that, the lead capture form on your website, so that people could sign up for the taste or the mini workshop, or you've called the virtual healing retreat, and talk about the future of healing ourselves. So that's really good for the whole week, just because, yeah, you're moving from this corporate Capricorn energy of building and work and organization into Aquarius, which is like the bigger vision and the movement for the world and what can it be. So if you put those two together, it's like giving them structure around healing themselves ongoing in the future. So I would offer that webinar or that free workshop or that low cost workshop to see if people are interested. Will they buy it, right? And then from there you can say, okay guys, so take the testimonials. You'll tell people on that free taste that you have a bigger thing coming, or your next workshop is coming up if you do decide to chunk it down. And you take the testimonials, make sure everyone who comes to that taste gives you a testimonial or a little bit of feedback, even like a smiley face, emoji. Give me something so I know if you enjoyed it and what you would like to see more of. Because at every point you want to, just collect some stuff that reinforces that your work is being received. And so you collect the testimonials from the attendees and you repurpose that into promo content. And you do that from the 15th to the 19th. You would do promotion literally from Wednesday until Sunday of your bigger course or the next workshop, the cut down version. And then the 20th through the 22nd, when the sun is in Aries, which is fire, which is like, let's go, let's do this. Everyone's going to be lit up. Everyone's going to be like feeling a little bit better. Again, caveat, we are in coronavirus, so we don't know. This might change. You can do the hard sell, or like, hey y'all, the cart's open. Hey y'all, I'm going to start the course, or I'm going to start the workshop. It'd be great to join me. If you have been, whether you're speaking it or you write it down, you make it into Instagram stories and little, promotional pieces. This is when we start. This is when it ends. You can sign up. That's all that you're doing. And then you actually start at the 23rd through the 26th, which is when the moon, if I triple check, hold on, y'all know I'm using my magic of eye calendar. Anywhere between the 23rd and the 26th is when the moon is in Taurus. And Taurus energy for you moves from your 7th into your 8th house, which 8th house is other people's money. It's also other people's transformation, right? So, and it's also the house, as we learned from Noel, the house of ancestors and resources from other people. So you could be starting it with all of that energy going on of like, I'm here to transform y'all's lives. I'm here for us to be a mutually mutual exchange of money for knowledge, or money for, or abundance, if you will, for your words, for your experience, and for my knowledge, right? So that's how I would roll this out for you, Kiara, if I were you, if I were doing it with or for you. And what does this look like for you, my love? It looks like you starting and really getting into ritual and prayer. I know that you already have a system, a daily practice. So just continue with that, or beef that up, or really call in the energy of your business and all of your ancestors who are supporting you in your business. Call on them. Go ahead and gather yourselves. And we worked on this a whole lot individually and also as a group. So make sure your selves are present and they're tended to, and they know their job while you do this new offering. And then we just went through strategize with spirit. So I'm going to stop this recording and this video share this time for y'all to digest this. And the next thing we're going to be doing is moving into how to create designated creative space that is organizing your content, your materials, your words, your ideas into a platform, a place where you can keep it. I have found that organization is the number one way to stop me from doing something, because I'm saving stuff everywhere and I'm like, oh, I'll empty my downloads folder, and I never do. So this is how I've been negating that. And I'll show you a couple different ways that I've created creative space or project management space for the things that I'm birthing and offering. The next one will be creating creative materials. So I used to create everything on Keynote, even my promotional like Instagram graphics and things. Now I mostly do everything on Canva, but I'll show you 2 ways to do that. And then we're going to talk about preparing the back end, which is like your email sequences and all of that good stuff. Payment processors. Whoo! So these are going to be about hopefully 30 to 45 minute mini videos that y'all can just kind of go through with ease. I'm going to finish those up. And then we'll move into promoting and host to share. And that's kind of like the freebie or the teaser that I was talking about with Kiara. And then using Instagram and Instagram Live to share and invite. Like, all right, y'all, this is that fire time where it's like the cart's open. Not cart, I never really think about it as cart, but like, hey, y'all, this is when it starts. This is when we can do it. Are you down for that? Do you want to do it? Do you want to come? I hope you will. This, just so you know, and then the folks will come on through. Okay. So just a reminder that as you do this, go back and revisit what we did in March last month around peaceful productivity. Feel when you are pushing and pulling, feel when you need to rest and be neutral. Feel, I've showed you a little bit of how I rock with the astrology by using Kiara and Kiara's chart for key dates on how to do things and what to talk about. Working with your ancestors, working with your energy, because as soon as you start showing up to show up and produce and offer, the energy, like, it changes. All right. So hit me with your questions. Be a little bit patient with me as I move through getting the rest of the videos up for y'all. And I'm so looking forward to this. So let me stop share so you can see my face. I'm sending out lots of love. Put the questions that you have, if there are specific things that you want me to cover around offering things online or even doing consulting proposals. Like, I've done everything, a lot of things. I've done a lot of things. I've done proposals for corporations and how to offer those, all the way to obviously an online business, and consulting for people who have online businesses, and then also running my own online business and also brick and mortar. So put your for real questions in the chat, ping me, tag me, and I will get to them as soon as I can, and I'll get the videos up as well. Okay, lots of love. Thank you for being in Spiritual B School. And if you are watching this for some reason and you're not, come on over to spiritualbschool.com and join the membership, join the community. Lots of love to you and your walk in this world.